This is another one of those things that'll stick with me forever. It was a winter day in December. It was dark outside around midnight. It was close to Christmas, but not quite Christmas. And I was heading back to the main station. I was traveling down a main highway, and I had pulled off onto the frontage road. And I'm not sure why I did, but I had chosen to take the frontage road. Now, a frontage road is a small road that goes alongside of a major highway that allows you to have access to like businesses that are off to the side. So as I'm rolling down this frontage road, I'm going about 45 miles an hour, and an old lady is waving her hands erratically out in front of me, and I almost hit her and I have to swerve out of the way. So I stop, and she's screaming, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I hit her, I hit her." And I had no idea what was going on. So I took a second, I stepped back, and I realized there was a woman laying on her back, slightly slunched over to the side, and she was bleeding out of the mouth. I realized in that moment that this woman was screaming that she had hit her. Like this woman had walked in front of her and she struck her with her car. Now the lady was crying hysterically. She was screaming, asking me to help her. So I roll over this lady who was wearing all black, and I do an initial evaluation on her. She's not breathing. She has no pulse. And I know I have to start CPR immediately. Now I know that there is a fire station just on the other side of the highway, but when you route something through dispatch, it always takes forever. But I get online on the radio and I tell them I have a pedestrian versus vehicle collision. I'm starting CPR. Now I'll never forget when I started CPR. This woman is screaming over my shoulder, please God, help this lady, help this lady. And I'm doing CPR, and when you've ever done CPR in the past, you remember initially you start to hear and feel like the cartilage break underneath the pressure of compressing the ribs. So as I start CPR, there's literally nothing there. Her entire chest is crushed from the collision. And I know this woman is gone. She's completely gone. I can see it in her face. She's bleeding out of her mouth. She's just a mangled wreck. But I do CPR anyway, and I try. And I start compressions. It takes a good 6 minutes before the next person's on scene. And I tell them to grab their med bag, and out of their med bag, I told them to grab a breathing bag and to start bagging this lady. So as the woman is screaming over my shoulder, I tell her very abruptly, go back to your car, go away. Now I didn't mean to be rude to this lady, but with her actions it was impeding what was going on, so I sent her back to her car because it was just the best thing for the scene. Now after the fire department showed up, they declared her dead, placed a white blanket over her just to keep her covered up for the investigation, and I responded back to the car where the older lady was standing talking to another officer. So I was listening to this lady talk about this is how she goes home. She was just leaving somewhere for the evening, and this lady had just stepped out in front of her. She didn't see her at all. The street is completely blacked out, and this woman's wearing all black. She's intoxicated, stumbled across into the roadway. Now, what really bothers me is the fact that this lady, not only did she kill somebody, but even if she was in the wrong, she's going to spend the rest of her life wondering if she could have done something different. She's going to spend the rest of her life wondering if she would have went this way instead of that way, if she would have left 2 minutes early from her event, or if she would have, left later and stayed and talked to people. Like, it's always those nagging questions in the back of your mind that are unresolved as a person who's been in such a traumatic event that they didn't ask for. It was pushed upon them. And what bothers me is even on the street today, I can get so upset over people stumbling drunk in the roadway because it reminds me of this older lady And people behind the wheel sometimes don't deserve to spend the rest of their life thinking that they are a killer just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time.